What's up, Neil?
Oh, hey, Kal. How are you?
I am doing fabulous. Season 3, Episode 3.
I think we did it.
We are here.
Yeah.
We are here, and we're going to keep on fucking doing it.
Yep.
And we are here with John Penman.
What up, John? Yeah.
How's it going?
So, one, welcome.
What
It's
up,
awesome
John?
that you're here. I forgot to crack open my B43
We are in the building.
grapefruit from Old Nation. So, this continued buzz is brought to you by Old Nation. The B43 grapefruit.
Cheers to two dudes and killer
Cheers.
two.
Two dudes, killer two.
That's cool. 3 Detroit beers there. That's a good one. I haven't had that yet.
Yeah, this is a blood orange honey from
Sheboygan.
Sheboygan.
And Neil has the Soft Parade from Shorts, which
Pretty
all
good.
Michigan beers. We have been the hotbed of beer for the last about 30 years, I'd say. And we got a great history on that in episode 1 with Travis Fritz, who is the owner of Old Nation. I don't know that we even talked much about music because we were just in awe of his story.
Right. When it ended, I was like, I don't think we really
I felt like
talked about
we could
music.
have gone like 2 more hours, but I felt like he needed to get back to work because
That's
we
all right.
were there while he was busy. But
We loved our
dude, it
time.
was such a cool story. You know,
Yeah.
just listening how he literally basically was dropping out of college and someone told him, hey, you know what, you could go to Germany for almost free to finish out your last year. So that's what he did, and he ended up in their like food program, but specified in beer. And he became one of only 16 certified German master brewers in the U.S. at the age of 23.
That'll net you so much more money opening your own thing.
Oh, and like this was right during that boom of like craft beer in like kind of the western part of Michigan. And he was all a part of that, and just hearing that story of how Old Nation started out and the grind, and you know, it just makes me think of 2 dudes because obviously, and stuff that you do. So we met at the Billy Strings show at the tailgate in Shakedown Street.
Yeah, we were both doing projects.
Right.
Everyone had a project going that day.
Yeah.
To be honest,
No,
it was like everyone was doing something.
I mean,
That's good.
people always told me about Billy Strings. I've listened kind of peripherally, I'll say, but that was the first time I went to a show. And seeing the tailgate, and it was the Grateful Dead, Fish, Take Your Pick, that type of setting. And I didn't realize that was the following for Billy Strings. You know?
Yeah, I didn't
Then
really.
I went to actually heard the music, and then being at the show, you get it.
I mean, I was still pretty new to it at that time also. I had really only gotten into him like that spring. My buddy showed me Dust in a Baggie, and then I didn't
love that
listen to
song.
him for months after that. I just knew that song, and I'd throw it on like if I was in like a traveling mood, if that makes sense, because it's got that's Billy. Billy makes you want to like get up and bojangle, and he's like,
No, absolutely.
you know what I mean? But like, so then I was like, well, okay, what about this record Home? And then I listened to that. And it blew my mind. And then I got the tickets, and then I saw the show, like I was saying, and then night 1 was fucking crazy. And I had the 2-night ticket. Did you guys have the 2-nighter?
No, we just did Saturday. Actually, I had a Saturday. So a lot of times I'll just buy the single ticket. And I'll be like, hey, who's going? Then we were driving there. Neil thought I had a ticket for him. He didn't even have a fucking ticket.
Oh, no.
No.
Well, at least it's lawn.
So then he was buying one for lawn. And then we had Erin Powers, who was a guest previously. She was on the second time with her wife, Amy Krieger, while we were tailgating. And they had 2 extra tickets, so Neil totally could have taken one, but he had already bought one.
Yeah,
but then,
right.
some random chick walks by and looking for tickets, and Erin goes and makes a deal and just gives her 2 tickets for free.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my God, you're the best. And
That's fun. Yeah.
That's that type of environment there.
Yeah, it was a cool environment. I didn't know it was like that, though.
No.
No.
And it's funny because
None of us
someone
did.
said the Billy Strings kind of like that tailgate, that environment is the Grateful Dead or Fish like at the beginning.
Yeah.
Because like some of that stuff is almost kind of taking a turn, I don't want to say like a darker turn, but like
Yeah,
it went from like this super fun, everyone's just having fun, to more of like whatever.
Yeah.
And the Billy Strings thing, I'm just sitting there as we were recording, and I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing. You're watching everyone walk by, and I remember we specifically parked across the parking aisle or whatever from like different like vans and whatever, because you wanted to be right in the middle of it all.
It was different than normal Pine Knob tailgating.
Oh.
That wasn't just Pine Knob tailgating.
I
That
remember
was
seeing,
different.
like where we were at, you could see like all of the tents, and what you didn't realize, like those were actually vendors.
Yeah,
And
everyone
they were selling
had
food
yeah.
or like jewelry and shit like that. It was actually like going to like a little fucking.
I got very light food poisoning from one of those places, which is not a complaint. That's why I didn't bring it up upstairs, because I ate at a lot of them, so I don't know which one it was. I think it was the one that was serving arguably not serve safe certified fucking just like room temp food out of like a giant gallon jug. I'm like, okay, well this isn't heated or colded, so this isn't like fucking, you haven't really covered your bases. Think it was them, but it was so good.
Yeah, you go. I got
So,
light food poisoning.
Yeah, light food I had like a little case of the shits, and it was like the next morning, so it wasn't even like.
Might have been the beer.
Show was good. Show was totally fine.
No, but it's funny because as we're sitting there recording, I'll never forget. It was like one of those old school like conversion vans, like an Econoline van, like back when.
Oh, yeah.
Well, when we were growing up. I mean, shit, you're a lot younger than us. But I remember.
I know about Econolines.
But I'm looking at you like
Those
had
rape
four
bands.
people get out of this thing, right? And all of a sudden you see this huge ass pit bull get out. And another smaller pit bull, like. And then all of a sudden you see this baby one. I'm like, there's 4 fucking people, 3 fucking dogs in that thing. And then you're talking to someone like...
And each dog lived inside of the other dog.
Yeah, we've been following them since California. I'm like, holy shit, we're in Michigan now.
That's hilarious.
It
was a great... Also, the weather that day...
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Fucking insane. Like,
because it was October 2nd.
But it was blue and sunny.
Oh,
it was
gorgeous.
sunny.
It was perfect.
People were wearing shorts. I was wearing shorts.
I was having such a good fucking time.
Our claim to fame last year is we opened Pine Knob with a tailgate at Sasanta with Primus, Pussifer.
I remember you were telling me that when we were there.
So very first show, May 2nd, which I remember buying tickets. I'm like, holy shit, I mean, May 2nd, that could be fucking horrible outside.
No.
It was like a 70-degree day,
Perfect.
perfect sunny,
Fucking perfect.
gorgeous. Yep. And then we ended with a tailgate with Billy Strings on that day.
Absolutely.
And it was another gorgeous. So it was a perfect bookend. And it was a gorgeous day. It was one of those ones where I wasn't even familiar with Billy Strings, but the whole leading up outside was such a great environment. And me and Neil go in the show, and we barely even saw the actual stage. We were just hanging out, talking. It was just such a fun environment. You didn't need to see it. You just had to be there and enjoy it and hear it.
I showed up specifically. I mean, I always show up early to tailgate at Pine Knob, because Pine Knob is like... It's kind of magic there, no matter what. It really is.
Summer
Like,
show,
I agree.
tailgating,
there's something going on there in the air. It just makes it like
I agree.
way more... It's just better.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that like night 2, when I came there, I think I got there at like 1 p.m. Like, I got there earlier than fuck. Like, I was really like we were sitting there just hanging out, smoking weed. It was nice. And pardon.
Nice.
And I didn't even like I had planned on filming, but I was still just like, okay, we got to like enjoy stuff first, like grab stuff from the vendors, and I still didn't even get to go to all of them.
Right.
And that's at a concert, and that's before you even go to the concert. So I just thought it was like, it was one of those days, man. Like,
You could have gone home after tailgate.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say.
Right.
It felt like we did that,
So that was the same
and then there was the show.
Because we did that, and it was like you already had a great time.
It's rad.
Anything else was like gravy, right? So we're in there, and we're just, you didn't have to be immersed in it. You were just there. And it was part, I think, because the whole day was just amazing. And you're still experiencing the music. But no, so you actually produced a documentary coming out of that whole thing and Shakedown Street, right?
Yeah, it's called Billy Strings. I forgot what the fuck it was called. It's you go to my channel and it's on there. It's like
So where do we go
Billy
to find
Strings
you on
documentary. You can find me on YouTube at John Penman. It's just my name. And yeah, it's called fucking. I don't know what the
wanna
fuck
say it
this.
was
Oh
Billy
yeah, it's called
Strings.
"I Went to Shakedown Street at a Billy Strings Concert."
That's right.
Okay.
There
So
we
yeah,
go.
but it was
No,
like
I-
a 7.
Look at that sun on that day.
Yeah.
That fucking
Dude,
blue. I
it
remember
was
that in my
amazing.
head. Like I remember it like almost like an acid memory of just the
Yes.
bluest fucking sky.
Well,
Well,
when I see that video, hey, there's a pack. I'm like, holy crap,
I
it was
love
so
that.
nice.
It was out of note. Well, that's the sense. Some things are just so kismet, like that when they happen, you're like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, what have I come across?
Right.
And it wasn't from like the selfish thing of like, I can't wait to get this on camera.
Right.
It's like, no, it's like now I have to investigate this. Like I have to figure out what the fuck is going on because
that
not
was
only is this
great
cool,
word, investigate, because
but you guys then like from there I was on a quest to see like, oh well, interesting. Well, what's all this line happening up here? Like what's going on up here? And then it sends you to the next thing, which then sends me into the concert very shortly after.
Right.
So
Wow.
it was just like,
no,
yeah, every
I loved it, and I watched.
like that.
It was about
John.
17, 18 minutes or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
and I'm sure you had so much more.
cut down from
footage.
an hour and a half.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, a lot of footage.
But no,
Yeah.
it was very well done. And then I want to say we were like in the 12, 13 minute mark.
Mhm.
But I remember watching the whole thing. And it was awesome because I didn't experience any of that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We
That's
got
so
there,
weird.
we
Yeah.
set up, we didn't get to walk around.
I
We
kinda
were
forget
ready
that.
to go, and we're like trying to drum up interest and.
There's like
You
other
know-
stuff that you guys were doing while that was all like being
so
set
you're
in
doing
motion.
all that, and you're
Yeah.
filming all that shit.
Dude,
And I loved it because, like, in the documentary, you're like, yeah, I guess these guys are doing a podcast over here, so we're gonna go check it out. And like,
Yep.
you turn the corner, and I always tell everybody, yeah, we had like 10, 12 people there to find my corner. But at least you see like a couple people and we're hanging out.
It was a
And-
decent amount of folks.
but we had like about 2.5 minutes out
Yeah.
of that time,
But
which
it
was
was
super cool. And
folks
then-
that were there fucking absolutely wanted to be there because of Billy Strings,
Oh,
because
yeah.
of a concert, because of
Oh,
the show.
and you're all there for the same reason.
yeah, and they were
Right.
here hanging out,
And
having a
it's
good time.
awesome
It was
because
amazing.
people are like, wait, what are you guys doing here?
Oh,
and,
yeah.
like half the time you're just talking.
Well,
to
nobody
them
knows
off
what
camera.
I'm doing when I'm
Right.
filming, or like when I have a camera, especially if I'm filming myself. What I just go with, and I've always gone with this: if you are doing something like confidently enough, nobody's gonna question like what you're doing.
Right.
So if I'm just holding a camera and I start talking to someone, or if someone else is holding the
Love it.
camera and I start talking to someone, I'm just gonna start talking. If they don't want me to be there, they'll tell me to fuck off. And if they
Right.
don't tell me to fuck off, they'll give subtle hints until I get it, and then
Right.
I'll fuck off.
And then you'll stay there.
That's so
No,
funny.
not stay there. If they don't tell you to fuck off, you're just gonna stay there
Yeah.
and do your thing.
I just keep, because sometimes if they don't tell you to fuck off, they might be uncomfortable. But it's like, also, even though I'll never say it, it's like, so am I, motherfucker. Like we're all strangers.
Right.
There's some level of uncomfortability, but I have
Right.
to go into
Yeah.
it with this like, I trust that because you're at the same function as me or whatever it is that
We have
we're
some common ground
something's
that we
going
should
on
start
here.
from.
Yeah.
Right.
So you can't like fail too hard there.
Right.
Dude, that's hilarious.
It's
'cause
like-
I go to shows by myself all the
I
time.
like that.
And I'm
Everyone's-
I'm equipped with all my stickers and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I talk to all the people usually in the smoking area. That's the
Everyone's
best time.
friend adjacent at a concert.
Right. And my big thing is I'll start talking to them. I'll tell them what I'm doing. I'm like, and you know what? I'll talk to you
Pardon me.
until I'm blue in the face. But if you want me to shut the fuck up, just let me know.
Mhm.
And a lot of them are like, no, this is cool. I'm interested in hearing
Oh, yeah.
about it. And of course, then I'm really in. And
Oh,
then
yeah.
Other people start hearing it. Those people walk away like, hey, what are you doing? And,
Yeah.
Right.
and no
It's
matter
fun.
what, it's just funny. I'm meeting people.
I made one at Cedar Point that was like you guys would really fucking enjoy it. It's probably, I know that the Billy one's the Billy one, but I made one.
Well, you had one, but before you get in that, but you had one that was like kind of viral. You said that went pretty recently.
Yeah, that one was a Taco
But
Bell one.
Okay, but I want to hear about Cedar Point first.
Yeah,
We'll
the
get into
Taco
that.
Bell one was kind of like, it's not even like it's like pretty close to not my favorite video I've ever made. So I'm like, like that's not, It went viral, and I was like, really? This
Right,
one?
of all the things I've done.
Fuck, dude. Like, that was a good skit, but I was like, it's not like...
Dude, I'm watching, like, me and Neil, I mean, not that me and Neil have the best podcast ever,
Mm-hmm.
but you know what? I've had a lot of people tell us it fills kind of a gap that is not out there. It's like live music,
Oh, yeah.
talking about it, and just whatever, and we have different aspects, but I mean, we bust our fucking ass,
Mm-hmm.
We're in third season. We're actually... April will be our second year doing it.
Mhm.
And then you watch like these other fucking podcasts and shit.
Oh, yeah.
that are like, how in the fuck is this happening?
Yeah.
And they're like 4 episodes in.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's where it comes into the grind, dude. You just got to, like, we have fun doing. That's why we do it, and you do it because
I have a shitty podcast that gets almost no views, and I'm happy to put out episodes every week.
Yeah.
And you know, when it comes to like
it.
music, and I always say it's not my job to bring you to the show. It's my job to expose you to music.
Exactly.
And that's what all those little videos do of all the shows. And that's why I don't
Pardon
care.
me.
It's
I'm so
fine.
burpy today, man. That's going to keep happening.
But that's why I don't care if my
'cause of the
videos
beer.
suck
Yep.
either, though, because usually you can hear it good or
Yep.
whatever. It's just
I'm
exposing it.
That's what
And
I was
then to
saying
hear
about
people
the
say, man, I never ever would listen to that band ever, but since you talked about it and I saw this video, now I'm going to a show or something.
That's why I made the Cedar Point video, because I have this like infatuation with that place. Like I went almost like 15 times last year.
Holy shit! No,
I have a season pass, so it's not like
and it's not far for
pretty much free. Yeah, the season pass for last year cost me like $75, and I went. I robbed them blind with that season pass, dude. Fucking, I was in that. I lived there basically, but they.
But that's like one of our guests, and she lives in Cleveland, so like they're Pine Knob.
Oh yeah.
She buys the season pass for the lawn at their equivalent of Pine Knob.
Oh yeah.
Whatever it is.
But it's nice because then you get all summer long concerts.
She pays less than $300.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
So now you go to Cedar Point, you pay $75. You go 15 times. They're like paying you money to go there at that point.
Well, and I love the place because it's nostalgia going back to when I was a kid. But now there's like so many adult adventures that I've had there.
Still go on the ride.
Oh,
I can't do that shit.
I go there. We went. Okay, so
I'll
there's
get a body cast.
the reason that I made it was basically just to show. Like the video premise was that of like how to bulk at Cedar Point. It was a real retarded video of trying to like use their food pass, which you can eat every 90 minutes, and you get a meal every 90 minutes. So I was like, oh yeah, motherfucker. So I got one right as soon as it opened, every 90 minutes after that, and I made my friend put me through a workout in between, which made me throw up a little bit a couple of times. So the whole
supersize me.
Yeah, it was a little retarded.
Get as much as you can.
And then they tried to get me drunk halfway through. They made me take shots and go for runs on the beach. They were like, you need to do suicides on the beach now. I'm like gone, dude. I can't do this. But it was all because like there was this night at Cedar Point that I had where I realized it's kind of similar to a concert where when everyone's at this place all at once and they're all there for the same reason, there's like an aura of excitement that like similar to the parking lot. It's kind of magic where this one night in specific, which isn't on the documentary, the Cedar Point thing, but it was raining like a motherfucker, and the Millennium Force. Have you ridden it?
Oh yeah.
Okay, but arguably best ride in the park.
Yes.
Could be. So we try to like make it a point to ride that a lot. We being me and my buddy Arthur, we're always there. It's like one of our favorite places. Shout out Arthur. He's the goat.
Arthur.
Best man at the wedding. So long story short, raining a fuck ton.
Wait. His last name isn't by chance Vandalay, is it?
No, it's not. No. Well, so it was raining a lot, and a lot of people had left because when it starts raining, especially close to 9 p.m., most people are like, "Oh, they're just gonna close the park." No, they only closed it temporarily because there was lightning within like a certain radius, and then the lightning stopped, but the rain did not. But they kept the park running. So we got onto the Millennium Force like 11 times in a row, over and over and over, because nobody was there, so they just kept on letting us.
Right.
Like all the things were open. So all of us in there had this like energy, like you would see all the same 30 motherfuckers. Yeah, you're all like,
right.
Let's go again, let's go. And I blacked out a couple of times after like the 9th, 10th time, but it was so worth it because
I bet you couldn't even remember the 7th or 8th time.
No, because it wasn't even the 6th, 7th, or 9th or 8th. It was just like being in there and looking at everyone and being like, are we seriously fucking doing this again? Again? Because the 3rd time was funny. It got funny by the 3rd time, and 3rd time, 4th and 5th, it was like, this is bizarre. 6th, 7th, 8th was like, we're kind of gilding the lily here, man. Like, we should probably get the fuck out. 9th, 10th became post-ironic. That's when it was like, so we're all retarded. We're all still here. And the 11th, it was at that point, a couple people trickled off, but it was basically like, I think it was like maybe 8:45, so it was just like, can we get another? Can we? Yeah. 11 was the limit for us. I could have gotten 12 too, but this motherfucker, he couldn't. I don't know what happened, but they preloaded him into the 5th car. I was in the 5th row. I'll always remember that shit. comes up, and he's already sitting in my seat. So I was like,
Well,
Fucker.
I know, like,
was he possibly handicapped?
so that's the thing. He could have been, because they usually preload them,
Right.
and I didn't want to get greedy, because I already went on it 11 fucking times.
Well, the reason I asked is because
Get up!
So my uncle Steve, who obviously passed, God rest his soul, but we were in Vegas, and New York has the
Love
roller
Vegas.
coaster that goes from
Fuck yeah.
inside and outside and back in. I don't know if you've ever been on it, but
Absolutely.
it's actually a very good roller coaster.
It's pretty decent.
So he was in a wheelchair like for 40 plus years, ever since he was like in his
Did he
very
go
early
on it?
20s. So me and him went on, and we were like the very first fucking car.
Oh, man.
And it takes off, we're going through it. And as we're going through it, I look over, and I mean, it sounds fucking horrible, but we laughed about it. His legs are just fucking flailing about, right? Because,
Awesome. Yeah.
and then
That's got to be pretty fucking funny.
And it was at that point, it
Yeah.
was like 10 or 20 bucks a person, right? So we pay.
Dude, it's
So
like...
then
it's-
when we come in, though, and we're in the front car, and like we come in, my uncle's like, fuck it, we're doing it again! So I'm like
That's
trying to dig
fucking
out like 20
hilarious.
more bucks to pay,
Dude.
because I don't want to do
Yeah,
them out and everything.
absolutely.
And we did it again. And
Unbelievable.
His fucking legs are flailing around and shit. And we had the best fucking
Unbelievable.
time. though.
Roller
He was-
coasters are a fucking bonding experience.
And if you knew Uncle Steve,
Oh, he was
my God.
the best fucking guy in the world, dude. Lived in San
imagine.
Diego. We used to go spend time
But
with him
yes,
out there. And,
the roller
and then
coasters
whenever we go
are.
to Vegas or like Reno, he'd
Oh,
always
yeah.
come in just because it was kind of
Vegas is
close.
great, though. I have a
Absolutely.
very big affinity in my heart for Vegas. I go there at least once a year.
Do you?
Yeah, it's like I don't gamble and I don't drink,
So-
but I kayak a bunch.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
No, there's so many cool things.
If you
out
drive
and
east
about
to
there.
Arizona, the Black Canyon has
Yeah.
like a little thing, Willow Beach Recreation Area. You just drive east for an hour, and then maybe even 45 minutes, and you get to kayak the Colorado River.
Well, so we did.
It's amazing.
We did a
Wow.
family vacation to Vegas a couple years ago,
Mhm.
and actually we stayed at like a Holiday Inn vacation club,
Mhm.
like just behind like the Strip, like right.
Kind of
where-
like the Polo Vacation one.
Yeah,
There's a
something
few
like
of those. Yep. I stayed
But
just
you'll-
off the
you'll
strip
walk,
also.
Like a good solid block or two, and you're right on the Strip.
Hmm.
But it's good because you're kind of off. And one Fremont Street is like fucking crazy.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
And now they have a zip
'cause I
line
haven't
on
been there almost-
Fremont.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I've been there like 20 years,
Mhm.
and that place is insane.
It's a lot more. It's more family friendly than it used to be, but you still got to be on your P's and Q's.
You have to be on your P's and Q's, and I've heard that if you go on the very first Friday of every month, it's like all the locals ascend on there, and our Uber driver told us that's actually the best time to go. Just
That makes
because.
sense.
But then, yeah, we went down there.
What month was it?
We went like spring break, so like late
Nice.
March, early
Okay.
April. And actually, it was 2 years ago because I dropped the very first Two Dudes episode ever, I think, when I was in Vegas.
Oh, man.
2
Okay.
years ago. And
2023, what a year.
but we drove into Arizona, went to the Grand Canyon,
Mm-hmm.
wanted to do the Hoover Dam, but it didn't work out or whatever. But went through like the Joshua Tree National
Oh, yeah.
Forest and all that. I mean, so much cool stuff to see. And you know what
Dude.
else you see though is
Yeah.
like you see a lot of like the rundown and
Yeah.
reservation stuff, which is part of our history too.
even just
which
driving
is
on the
actually very
highway.
interesting
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
see, no matter for whatever reason.
Yeah, it's pretty. There's a lot of like problem,
And the
meth and
mountains.
alcohol problems
Oh,
in the
yeah.
reservations.
Oh yeah.
But it was cool. I just like recently, like with Vegas. So I also stayed just off the strip. There's these 3 towers called the MGM Signature.
Yep.
It's the ultimate Vegas hack. So
Okay.
you go on Airbnb or Vrbo and you rent because they're condos.
They're condos.
They're condos, and so you rent
Is
one
that
of those.
also like the area and all those like AR?
It's like next
IA,
to the
over by
Aria.
there. Yeah,
It's
Aria,
kind of
right,
by
over
there.
By there.
It's like right next to Topgolf, and you can walk into the Signature,
Okay.
and you can go through this like kind of mall of the MGM,
Because they
the
were building
Signature.
all that shit. Like
Yeah.
the last time I was in Vegas.
But
I
you
was, like,
skip
20
resort
years
fees
ago.
at this place.
Nice.
There's no resort fees.
Huh.
The deposits are only like $100 a night instead of 2, and on top of that, you get a full kitchenette. So instead of like, which as a cook, that's why I'm saying you would fucking love it. It's,
Right.
Right.
you
Make your own food.
Yeah, you get to make a lot of your own food because I like to, when I go on a trip, if I'm there 4 days, I'll go to the grocery store and get at least like 2 days worth of food that I can eat because I get fucking stoned at night.
Well, and
Good weed, and then you're hungry, and I don't want to microwave. I want to cook or my leftovers.
you're gonna eat 2 of those other days out.
Exactly.
Might as well have.
You only need to
yeah.
eat 2 nights out as it is in Vegas.
Right, because you end up getting fucking sick of eating
Yep.
out.
You literally,
So
because you
get
have
a
to.
couple quick things, you eat stuff.
It's
some
the
snacks
quickness.
during the day.
That's sometimes what it is. Because when you're in Vegas, you gotta. You're not driving.
No, fuck no.
No.
And if you're walking to a restaurant, it's going to be a half-hour, 45-minute trek, which is delightful. But if you're hungry right the fuck now, it's like I'm gonna make some risotto in my room right now.
Some risotto.
I'm gonna fucking
or some cold
Pour
cuts.
that goddamn water over
give me
that
a little sandwich. Let me get the roast beef and the lettuce out.
It's tough to make a good risotto.
Ah, dude, I'll sit and slave over the stove.
I did.
I'll just sit there.
I did it like from
because
scratch.
if you'd like to cook, that's-
whatever. One time, I'm like,
Need to
it's
do
a
it.
lot of work, but if you fucking do it right, that shit is so.
It's
good,
delicious.
dude. So good.
Oh, I love risotto. Wow, how did we even get here?
Who knows?
Yeah,
That's the beauty of our show.
Yeah.
Talk
you
about
know?
Vegas, and then we're
A lot
talking
of times
about music,
we
and
talk
then-
about music.
That's
about
hilarious.
40% of the time.
Yeah, I was like, I don't want to like fuck the layout of the pod up.
You're
If
totally
it's too
fucking
off.
it up, John.
I'm
Some-
fucking
you know,
I'm fucking it
The
up,
beauty
dude.
of having,
I'm canceled, dude.
the beauty of having the Garage Band podcast is you can do whatever the fuck you want. 'Cause You don't really know what the fuck you're doing.
I just got exiled from podcasts.
So the thing is now that we're in like season 3, I'm like, do we actually have to like take the step up and try to like make shit better? And to be honest, I don't really care.
Yeah.
You know, I don't. I'm gonna use my MacBook. And we're gonna do this shit. We're gonna fucking put it out there. We're gonna put my videos out. And if you like it, great. And a lot of people do. Like I said, we're almost
And I think
350,000
we're fine.
YouTube
Oh, yeah.
views. Like 300. I look at it this way. Almost 700 subscribers and 350,000 views on YouTube.
Yeah, that's
in
pretty
2
good.
years, fully organic without
Yeah.
buying shit. Because
It's pretty good.
you guys suck when you do that.
Yeah, it's fucking. It's lame.
It's something, dude.
It's like,
I know we're on to
who
something.
are you fooling?
Right. Oh my god, fucking this guy.
I have 3 million views, but it's like.
I have John
Yeah?
from India who's fucking viewed it so many times and shared it.
I'm
Awesome.
sure from India.
Fucking John, yeah, right.
Yeah.
I'm sure John fucking loves you, dude.
That's a crazy name to choose for a guy from India. You could have chosen like Rohan or like something. You chose John from India.
His last name was Patel.
Okay, I was gonna say we could go. Yeah, we could go a number of
But
ways.
no, like actually, like when I release on Spotify and all that shit, you get the downloads, and I was at like 4,000. All of a sudden, I went down to like 3,500. Well, because they finally filtered out like all the fucking spam accounts, and all that bullshit. You know, and you actually only get like 70% of the actual downloads or whatever. I'm like, okay, well that's good though.
Yeah.
I wanna
Still
have
pretty
a true
great.
count or whatever. But we did just pass 4,000 downloads, which good, bad,
Pretty good.
whatever. And then you obviously have the views and people that watch it on YouTube. So,
Yeah,
which is what I like, because to me, I think there is some lost in translation if you probably just listen online. But I also understand the way people, however you're doing it, fucking great. I love that you're here.
Yeah.
So I want to get to some of your music now.
Absolutely.
So first, I want to know. First show you ever went to, do you remember?
And you're 29 years old.
Yeah,
We want to know the first show you went to.
it would have been like it would have been like 90s Roadhouse country type shit. So it would have been either like a Brooks and Dunn or like a Joe Diffie.
Okay.
Or like something like that. It would have probably been like maybe a Tracy Lawrence.
Where at?
I don't know
We
if it
always-
was open
I mean,
when I was a baby. Like I would
Were
have
you
been like
always from this
3.
area?
I would have been
Okay.
like 3.
I would have been like 3 or 4. So like maybe Pontiac Silverdome if that was still open. And like because I was born in '95. Yeah.
Okay.
So it could have been there, but I don't have a memory of that place.
But that's super cool that they would actually.
Yeah.
I'm sure you probably didn't have hearing protection back.
Never. What?
What?
But actually, no. I've actually
Come again?
So I'm hitting 4 or 5 shows a month, right?
Yeah.
And I've actually started. I never wore the hearing plugs or whatever before, but the other day I was driving and I had tinnitus in my ear
Oh, it's the worst.
for a quick fucking 10 seconds. I'm like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, sometimes it'll
And
drop.
I'm like, holy shit!
What?
And it was after I went to Hippocampus on February 11th, and I went to Goose on the 13th, and it was literally the next day. All of a sudden, I had this ringing. I was like, what the fuck was that? But it was just
Yeah.
it was kind of real quick, 5-10 seconds, and then I haven't had
Still
it
annoying.
since.
I mean, I've
And I'm like,
had
holy
that shit.
shit, though. But that, if I'm going to keep doing this, I don't want to fuck all that shit up. So.
I don't think you will.
But I
If I'm,
I don't want to do the fucking plugs, though, either. Because I feel like you miss out on something.
you don't.
No.
No, I promise you.
Do you wear them?
I wear them on stage while I perform. When
So
I'm
wait.
drumming, I wear over the
So
ear headphones.
you're in a band?
Yeah, 2 bands.
No shit.
I was
you're
saying
in a
that
band?
earlier.
Well, I know you. Well,
This is
we weren't
this is
on
new to
at
us.
that
Oh,
point,
yeah, well, yeah,
No.
my bad.
No.
Sorry.
No, I'm joking. But
The illusion has been broken.
Yep.
No,
I
I'm
didn't even know
joking,
you
but
were in a
no, Eric
band.
was still in there, and I know we were out. So
You might have been
I
inside.
remember you saying you were in the marching band.
Yeah, no, that was in
Churchill.
high school. Yeah,
The
yeah.
Drummer in the marching band.
Yeah, I was on 3rd base for 3 years and then 5th base for the last year.
That's awesome. My cousin was in the marching band in Flint at Carmen Ainsworth. He
No
was
shit.
actually also the goalie for the hockey team, but was in the band. They were called Crop Circle at first, and then when they started doing regional
actually
tours,
pretty
I think they found someone else was named that, so they were called the Crop. They're out of Flint, but he was a drummer, and I mean, fuck, he could wail. Because, he was a huge Rush fan.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I mean, my favorite band's Dream Theater, so that's
and now he's actually playing
feel
in
that.
a country band, just doing stuff or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Like, really? He's like, dude, it's the music.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
Yeah.
I've been drumming since I was
just like
5,
anyone else.
about. My
Really?
parents got me
So
involved.
what's your bands? First of all, what are they called, and what's your music style like?
Yeah, there's the rock band, the original band that I'm in. We write all of our music, and it's kind of like an Alice in Chains vibe mixed with a Van Halen vibe. It's weird. It's grungy yet melodic and soaring in the chorus, if that makes sense. We're called
Makes
Armada
sense.
Lodge.
Armada Lodge?
Yep, Armada Lodge, and it's fucking really good music. I'm really proud of it. It's the first band that I've ever been in where I'm 100% behind all of it in a way where there's a telepathy when we write. There's weird, just everything
So are
comes.
these dudes you've grown up with, you've known forever, or do you just
So the
kinda meet up
vocalist,
over-
he was the producer for my a rap project that I had been doing since from 2017 until last year. I kind of was just I don't want to do this shit anymore. But Adam Shepard, he's my producer for that, and we just always had moments in the studio where we would have the first time that I went to the studio, we became instant best friends to the point where it was it's just weird. I can't explain it, man, but it was
I get it.
something. And then
It's almost weird, creepy. How do
It's
we
fucking-
have this connection
yeah.
so fast?
and it was
It's
there
weird.
was
Yeah,
so
I
many
get it.
telepathic things that would happen, and I keep using that word because I genuinely mean it. There's stuff that when we're in the
You
studio
connect on a
working,
different level.
I'll
that you didn't even
think
realize.
something and he'll do it at
Right.
a second later,
nice.
while he's in editing. He knows what I want and I know what he wants. So when our workflow, it's and praise to the muse, wherever this energy comes from, wherever the signal comes from. But it's when it comes, man, it's him and I have it's it comes to both of us, and we're in this room where it just doesn't. We don't have to talk about stuff. It just happens.
Right.
We're able to be super direct and just there is no hemming and hawing. It's we all feel, all 4 of us feel comfortable just saying no,
Is that
yes, no.
organically, or is it?
Yeah, or it's just
it's not something you.
it just feels if an idea is bad, if I write if I write a honker of some riff or something sounds like shit, they can say no, and there's no ego inside of any one of us where we're are you sure about, it's not coming personally. No, usually it's like we almost are like, huh, you're right. No. Like it happens like that.
There's
and
something here, but yeah, you're right. It should be this way.
Yeah, and then we're really good at surrendering and like killing our baby, if that makes sense.
Right.
Like coming
absolutely.
to the table with a fucking like with
that's like the definition of like a pure team. Like, you all bring shit to the table. You all
constant compromise,
and you can you can actually talk about like grown ass people.
Mm-hmm. But yeah,
but this and like, oh yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
This and that, and I know that's something Neil always likes. Is like, how does a band come to creating these songs and music? Because
so rad.
I mean, we don't understand that shit at all.
Yeah.
Like, I love music, but I don't understand it. I've never played anything.
Well, like the three fellas, they grew up together.
You know what I do understand is the commitment of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's your craft. You need to work on it constantly. I mean, that's what we did with soccer.
That's what
you
I was
need to constantly work
sports,
on it. So
the
analogy is you understand like the sacrifice
but it's a team
that goes
though.
into it. But then when you bring a band, you're not just a guy that's picking your guitar.
So
and
I think
songs.
we know because we were.
You kind of get it,
but
like,
we don't because
your buddy was saying, it sounds like
I know how to play a guitar.
Like, hey, I have this song. And then, like, the guitarist or whatever, like, that's awesome, but what if we do this? Like, how does that work? And, like,
it's entirely, your buddy would understand this, the guy that was on the last episode.
But if you have egos playing with that's where you really break down.
It's an acid thing. Like, that's the way that I like to think about it. Like, I did a lot of acid when I was, like, 20, 21, 22.
Same here.
And, it's
never heard of it.
It's something. I do not recommend illicit drugs. Don't do any Schedule 1 drug.
Yeah, should. I'm just kidding.
There's something that
if they should be
does. Like there's some sort of there's something that I see and feel and hear, not see visually, but when we're writing, there is. It's like, man, it's gonna sound so douchey, but it has to be put this way. So
you're good.
There's like an aura around like a chord that's coming in. Like we just the other day we had a writing session where there was a part, and he kind of wanted to make it sound evil, but the chords that he used, he chose like a diminished mode of the chord, which basically just means that the chord sounds a bit more than evil. It sounds like the word I would use is sinister. So the aura became sinister as opposed to just evil. Big difference in my eyes. Now, that's why I bring in the acid thing, because there's like it reminds me in those moments of trips that I've had where I'm like, there's a spectrum of emotion, and it's just like it's so wide-ranging, and there's so many individual little Crayola crayons, that you could pick out of any of them. It's like a 600 pack of crayons, or a 12, whatever it is. It's basically the biggest pack of crayons you could find, but it is limited. It's limited to a certain amount of emotion, but they all blend into each other. Yep. And sometimes they'll do something that's so small like that. And I told him, I was like, you should take the root, and instead of lowering it, it was like dun 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 dun, something like that, right? You see how I lowered it on that one. So imagine that as the root. He had the third above it doing the same thing, but I told him, just keep the third doing the same thing. Don't change anything else, but make the root all the same note, so that when it goes down one note, it doesn't become like sinister. Because changing that one note on the bottom with the note on the top, changing it, that's what makes it sinister.
Right.
That's what makes it, in that situation, the way the other chords and everything else in the music was happening, that's what made it an augmented modular chord. But I just told him one note. Just move it up. Just one little note, one half step, not even a whole step. Mm-hmm. Just changing it from, I think in this case it was a B to a C, B natural to a C. Wow. And that made all the difference. And then it sounded, and that's for like 4 seconds of music. So like
right.
15, 20 minutes was put into like making sure that like we were like, why does it doesn't match up? Because the rest of the song sounds dark. And I was like, Because it goes sinister there. You're supposed to just go from dark to evil. You can't just jump from dark to sinister. So yeah, that's kind of like
that's like the nuance of it.
Yeah, that's like an easy way of explaining a situation.
Understand anything,
yeah,
but
exactly.
That small, like you said,
Wow.
4-second piece could totally change it.
Yeah.
So how do you make a song? And that's how you make a song.
That's
pretty much.
crazy,
Maybe.
though.
Yeah.
But it happens quick. Like
Right.
the whole song, that's only 15 minutes, but that whole writing session was 4 hours, and we got the whole song done in that 4 hours. So 15 minutes, we move on, maybe we come back, we circle back.
Try this, let's go back to
And I don't start writing, like we'll do the instrumental first, and then we'll do the lyric, well, not even the lyrics, then we'll do the melodies, and then we do lyrics after the melodies are done. But me personally, like, I'm really weird. I'll start, if applicable, in the pre-chorus. If I can identify a spot in the song, in the instrumental, where the pre-chorus can exist, or where one really, like, lies perfectly, I'll show you the example when we're done. I have the demo from the other day. I hear that, and I'm like, let's start here. Because that's, like, to me, a real pivotal moment. Because you'll, in a basic song structure, you might have, for a lot of them, verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, outro, one applicable, and there's only one pre-chorus, and a lot of times there's not always a bridge either. There's not always a bridge, but there's usually a pre-chorus, and if there is one, it'll like, it won't even be the same thing on the first run that it is on the second run.
Right.
It'll go for, I'm getting in the weeds here. It's always like different, you know, and it's such a pivotal part because it transitions from the verse to the chorus. So if you have the transition done,
but you might have a lead in
exactly
between this time when they do the chorus and then this time when they do the
exactly.
chorus.
So if you have the
So
pre-chorus
you'll pick it up
done,
at that point,
it tells you what the chorus is.
Right.
And if you have the chorus done after that, or whichever you choose, the pre-chorus also alludes to what was before it. Based on what it is, it'll tell the story of what comes after it and what comes before. Not exactly. It's not like it's fucking written on the walls, but it gives you like a shining beacon of like, hey, why don't you start at this note because you did this here.
So you're the drummer.
Mm-hmm. But also the main songwriter for that band with the vocalist. So it's me and Adam write a lot. And then Andrew and Alex, they're the guitarist and bassist. They write a lot of the instrumentals like with Adam. So they bring a lot of the instrumental to the table, unless it's like a ballad or something. Then I'll, like, because I play piano.
So
but
what is the connection between the drummer and the bass? It seems like there's always a very special bond between the two, just because of the kind of driven,
there's
the backbone of the band. That's always what I've kind of envisioned.
me and Alex. Yeah, there's a lot of nonverbal stuff. It's a lot of like looks and a lot of I don't know. In our case, it's a bit more around the songwriting, I'll say. So we write moments into the songs that makes
because
sense.
You guys are the backbone to the band. I mean, the drum
for the most part,
basically. And the reason I brought that up is my very introspective digging in is actually Stephen Perkins and Mike Watt with like Point Over Pyros. Like those dudes have like this connection of like that backbone of that whole.
I think it's less so
sound.
us two. Like in our band, it's not a drummer bassist thing. Like for us, it's a songwriting first approach.
Okay.
Which just means that like what we write is what we play, and when we rehearse, we make sure that it's like it's being portrayed the way that we want it. So the theatrics behind
person's going around.
We're all playing off of each other. Because if one of us is absent from practice, it feels fucking weird.
I bet.
And anybody,
Absolutely.
because there's only 4 of us. It's very pure rock band. Like there's
It's like
singer.
comes off an appendage at that point.
Yeah, it really. Yeah, you feel disabled, and it feels like because you would think that the guitarist would be the least important as far as like being able to hear stuff.
No.
But if he's not there, then like there's cues that even though I do rely on a lot of vocal cues, I'd say 80% vocal cues, maybe 10% guitar, 10% bass. when it comes to those points, sometimes even after we've rehearsed so fucking well that we can perform and practice blindfolded, all four of us. If it's three of us and one's missing, we start fucking up and making all sorts of mistakes and it's
like everyone checks each other.
Because there's a lack of there's that fourth we're all there denying and confirming stuff while we're playing. We're looking, like if I hit a wrong cymbal, I look at a guy, I'm like, did you hear that? But I didn't say it.
That's funny you say that because again, I know nothing about bands.
No, but
I always hear.
Sorry to rant so much. There's so much that goes on during it.
Sorry, that's fucking awesome. Whatever.
No,
what
you
just
love
said
hearing
is
about
awesome.
that. But the one thing I've always heard, and I always go back to Smashing Pumpkins, was everyone's always like, "Oh my God, I miss Darcy so much," which, whatever. But I also do remember seeing all the old interviews where people would look at Darcy, like you said, you look at someone to either get back on time or to do something, and a lot of times they were looking at her because a lot of times it's like the bass that keeps like you said, like the backbone going, and then like you're keeping time with that or whatever. I don't know shit what I'm even talking about at this point. But I remember seeing that, and like that was exactly what you kind of touched on, is like you're getting those visual cues while you're playing too.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh shit, I'm playing too fast.
Well, there's also
like
the
that
in-ears.
drummer's trying to catch you, get you back in line or whatever. And
we play to a metronome.
You don't see that happening.
Well, there's all the stuff in the ears you don't see happening, like the sound effects, the whole set that we have right now and forever. Like we have a click track in our ears, and I get a mix of just no drums. I get a little bit of bass and vocal, and almost no guitars. My vocalist's ears, however, he gets
I've always wondered that. So you're talking about like the earplugs or whatever that you
we all playing. Hear different stuff.
I've always wondered what you're actually hearing while you're playing, because I'm assuming that's helping you keep in with whatever's going on.
Yeah, like during live, I take the guitars out because the reality is I know in a live application, I'm going to hear him. The guitar is really, it's in that mid-range to higher spectrum of frequency, so you're going to hear it.
You're going to hear it no
Whereas
matter
the
what.
bass, I'll put a little bit in there so I can hear it in my ears. I'll feel it mostly, but I want to hear it. The vocal is the main thing because then I can always hear what's going on. Whereas the vocalist, I don't know what Adam has in his, but it's we all have different stuff. I know Alex, our bassist, I think he only has drums and bass. So he's
that's
just
where I was going. That the drums and the bass are eternally tied together.
Yeah, he's more just in his own.
You expand it where you might hear other shit, and then everyone else.
And there's the metronome.
I've always wondered that.
There's the metronome that counts off our songs, so we'll be able to do cool stuff like we have our record that's on Spotify or wherever, but we also have our live versions of the songs where the outros and the intros are pre-rehearsed and performed in our rehearsal space. So we'll be okay, this song ends usually with a dun, 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 hard stop. Not super, it can be cool, but let's say we want to have it be a big rock outro and have it transition to another song. We'll give the metronome extra time, we'll decide how many bars it makes sense. We'll figure something out. It'll transition, end, right? And then we'll hear the lady in the ear. She'll go, 1, 2. Well, first she'll say the name of the song. So Desert Sand. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then she, in our ears, counts it off. So there's a pre-programmed, like a fake person in there that
get you ready for the next.
Tells us what is next, what's coming. And as long as you are really well rehearsed, you don't actually have to do anything when you perform. You just do, it's all drill. It's when people do MMA, how they talk about it's just all the routine. It's just it's well,
you're practicing all the time. You're ready.
I'd rather it be robotic during rehearsal so that when I'm live, I can do whatever the fuck I want. I can start flipping. I can flip my guitarist off.
Right on.
Yeah, just fun shit.
Right on. Yeah.
Because why would you want to? Because if I have to really focus while I'm live, it's what are we doing here? I can focus during parts I need to focus
adapt
on.
to whatever might happen. Shit.
That's the point of a live show. It's live.
That's
shit's happening.
Absolutely.
My kick pedal broke on the last show that I had at the tribute show. It's for a band called Ghost. You know them? So it's a tribute for Ghost. We dress up like them. The whole 9 yards. We play up to a 2-hour set.
Play Rats.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's awesome.
They made a. Didn't they win a Grammy or they were up?
They did. Yeah, they're fucking so good. And as long as they keep on putting out music, the tribute band will be good. But they.
So you have Armada Lodge, and
Yep.
then you have.
And then that's called Devil Church.
And then the
Devil
Ghost
Church.
Yep.
is Devil Church.
Fuck yeah, Ghost.
Yeah, and my
dude.
kick pedal broke on the 4th song into an hour-long set. Like, it was like January 20th or something like that. Stuff like that'll happen live, where I had a double kick pedal, and the right pedal broke 4 songs in. There's no time to, like, fix that. I'm not even kidding. There's literally no time, generally, unless you're like stadium level, then there's a backup backstage. But most of the time, there's no time to be like, hey, does anyone have one I can borrow? That's also very cringe. It's just like, fuck, man. So I just had to use my left foot the whole time. So then you have to do shit like that, and then I have to signal while I'm drumming to everyone else so that they are just at least aware that I'm now fucking handicapped. So I'm like looking, I'm like, get a load of this. Like, I'm kind of giving them a look like, check this out.
Hilarious.
I'm fucked.
Look what I'm doing.
Yeah, literally, it's like, you see this right foot? Ain't using it.
Yeah.
Not today. I can't fucking use it. Because it's not usable. I'm like, But it's fun, though. Like, short answer, yeah. It's like, I don't know what the question was.
It was, how do you make a song? And how do you
Yeah, you just follow the aura. You follow the real woo-woo answer I'll give you, like the genuine, like where I think it comes from. How do you make a song? It's a signal, like, from somewhere, man, and you have to be really, like, grateful and tuned in. And if you're grateful and tuned in enough, and you're, like, really wanting to make a good fucking song, you'll catch, just like tuning on a radio. It's like
But shit, here we are.
Yeah, it's like,
It's perfect.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. We're in a space now where we can fucking... And it doesn't last either. Like,
No.
That's what I thought.
a couple
No,
hours...
it's fleeting, right?
It's
like
it lasts for a session. That's why it's a writing session usually.
You hope that you hit that run time and it's fucking perfect and everything's
That's why these rappers, people make fun of them. They for smoking and getting drunk and fucked up and just renting a studio for 12 hours and doing a lot of what seems like partying. No, like similar to having a beer with your buds. It's like it's vibe setting,
right?
Because you're not just gonna sit down and I'm gonna write a song right now.
Right.
Except for like the 2% of times that does happen.
Right.
You're gonna want to like, all right, what's going on? Oh, I haven't seen you in a week.
And
Nice. How was work? Fucking, you warm up. You act like a fucking human. You have perhaps a smoke. Maybe one guy has to piss. Oh, bassist wants to go and grab some food. He'll be right back. And then by the time things start rolling, someone had an idea, and then you start writing, and then before you know it, you're tired, and people are going home, and you're like, oh man, we got so much done. So you just like have to let people live. Our bassist passed out after an hour and a half of writing the other day. He was super tired, but he contributed a couple of great fucking ideas that helped the session along while he was asleep. Stuff like that's okay as well.
He wakes up and catches right back up.
Exactly. It's fucking because life also happens. So it's like the answer is so amorphous, but it's like literally following the muse and allowing humanness to also
life totally gets in the way.
It does. It literally does.
If you could devote all your time to this or that, it would be
I had the shits.
Amazing.
I was shitting like big that night. I don't know what the fuck was wrong with me. It was like a bad hot pocket or something.
Were you on mushrooms?
No.
It was probably from that
Get you to LSD.
that Billy String show.
No, it was legitimately from a hot pocket.
Okay, all right, hot pocket.
Yeah, sadly, I don't think I
Hot
cooked
pocket
it
laced
fully.
with
I
LSD.
will never dog anyone about a hot pocket. Those motherfuckers are good.
They are very good. They took away the sleeve.
They're not that good.
Hot pockets used to come with a little sleeve. No sleeve.
No shit.
Yeah, they're done with that.
Fuck that.
They're not that
Fuck
good,
Hot
guys.
Pockets,
Come on.
then.
Whoa.
Hot pockets aren't that good.
You're right, but
Moving on from hot pockets. So, Forever 5, who are some of your bands that you can't live without, totally shaped the way that you think about music, etc.?
Yeah.
Dream Theater, Breaking Benjamin, right off the top.
Have you seen them all?
I have. I haven't seen the Beatles, but I saw Paul McCartney, so I'm gonna say like the general camp of all of those, both solo projects and
We'll call them Beatles. But
Yeah.
Let's go Beatles.
all that shit. That
specifically
goes along
side B of Abbey Road. There's something about that songwriting that when I first heard it, it like legitimately changed like my songwriting. I was like, oh, I get it. I suck. I'm like, this is
I
fucking.
suck.
These guys like figured it out way long ago. So Dream Theater, Breaking Benjamin, definitely Pink Floyd, and I'm like on the Gilmore side of Floyd. Like I don't mind Roger, but Gilmore is the sauce.
So, Pink Floyd, they're doing something with the whole Pompeii show. Like,
Oh yeah,
they're
the
releasing
Echoes is
it
coming to theaters.
Yeah. And I will say that my mother bought me a Pink
Oh
Floyd
man,
Pompeii T-shirt at a garage sale for $1 that I wore on an episode.
that's
already.
amazing.
And so yeah, like they're re-releasing
Mhm.
that or all of them
In theaters in April.
yeah, and I was never. I mean, to be honest, I'm not a huge Pink Floyd person.
Mhm.
I understand it. I appreciate it. I
I
fucking
like
love
Pink-
it.
Yeah, I get
You know,
it,
like,
but I do like
But
Pink
to me,
Floyd.
it's like one of those older bands that is on my peripheral.
You gotta listen to 90s Floyd. That's like the best Pink Floyd.
90s Floyd.
I'm so serious. Like
So
the
that was when
They're-
like the whole was it the
post Roger. Roger's
what
out.
was the whole Fly
They're good,
song?
man.
What was that?
The what?
Pink
the
Floyd's
Learning
good.
to Fly. Was that what it was by them?
Learning to
Was
fly. I think
that
that's
back in the early 90s.
that might have been on the Division Bell
Yeah.
or Momentary Lapse of Reason. Like late 80s, early 90s. Floyd is like, as soon as they got rid of Roger, it was just a lot better.
Yeah.
But that's me being a purist though.
I don't think you're being a purist or whatever, but whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
But I've heard the same thing, but I think Pink Floyd is freaking really.
I feel
good.
like a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people
Gilmore
like
solo
Gilmore
is insane.
better versus Waters is what I always kind of envisioned. I was never a huge
Yeah.
Pink Floyd fan, but that's always like the outsider looking at it was like people always seem to side more with the Gilmore side of that band.
All the melodic stuff. That's all Gilmore.
Yeah.
Like Echoes. That song is fucking straight Gilmore. All like 20
Right.
fucking whatever minutes of it. It's evil witch
They were
noises on the
definitely one
guitar.
of those bands
Yeah.
too, right? That, like,
They were freaky. There's some freaky songs that I don't like listening to. But that's just because they're scary.
right. No,
Yeah.
I hear you. I hear you.
It's like, what the fuck were
They
you
were
doing?
they were never really on my radar. Pink Floyd, to be honest.
Um,
Stones were
Me
another
neither.
one.
I've.
I
grown
love the
to-
Stones,
I've
but I wouldn't put them
grown
on
to
my...
love 'em.
I like the Stone. I've learned to like.
Mhm.
I always liked a lot of their songs. I just didn't like them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but I look back at their catalog. I'm like, holy shit! There's so many good fucking songs there.
I would go Aerosmith next.
That was my first show ever.
Aerosmith, I saw them a couple times in Vegas, and it was just
Oh, during their residency
fucking
or
insane.
whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they just like... Their songwriting is insane, too.
I
oh.
loved the '70s Aerosmith. That was like my
Okay.
favorite with them.
I'm like getting... I just found out about... I'm still on my journey with them. Like, I started with the older stuff because my parents listened to it.
Right.
I got more into, like, Permanent Vacation. And then now I figured out I'm doing 9 Lives, kind of like diving into
Okay.
that album deep. It's... I like the 90s Aerosmith quite a bit.
So I have
I-
I have a
go
question
ahead.
for. Obviously, you're a musician, but when you buy a CD, or let's say Aerosmith, do you buy the fucking record,
I like CDs.
CDs, and then you buy, like no Spotify, or like you actually buy a CD,
Yeah.
put it in, and listen to it, right?
Mhm.
Like we all used to.
It's a good
Which
feeling.
is great. It's a great feeling.
Plus, it's
right?
lossless audio quality on the CD.
Yeah.
That's the best part.
And you
They
put
got
it in
great
and you say,
quality.
"Oh my gosh, that's a fucking
It's a
nice
great
CD."
listen.
But yeah,
And then you do
That's why
Fucking-
you would know. Town Peddler in Livonia.
uh-huh.
I go there to get CDs
Yeah.
a lot because they just have like $1, $2. Just
So
a lot of.
I mean, isn't-
sale for
Yep.
CDs in there.
How it
I
should be?
sold so
It's
many
awesome.
great CDs for $1.
Nothing-
So many people were happy leaving my house, and it actually made me feel good.
The best
I watched
feeling.
a guy walk out with like
Right.
15 CDs,
Mhm.
and they had like all across the board.
And it takes a while. I love being in
I
a
even
record
talked
store.
to him like, so what was it? What did you got there? He's like, oh my god, this. I'm like, that's awesome. You know, I loved selling those.
Being in a record store and taking time to find a nice selection. Like if you have a couple hours and you literally go through every fucking one just to see, and you might only walk out with like 4. Right? You walk out feeling like your brain reset.
Yes,
you feel
and
calm.
Holy shit, I can.
Yeah, it's like everything changes. It feels like how people describe like reading a nice book in a library. You're just focused on like
I need to go buy more CDs or albums or whatever, records, whatever.
it's so much fun, especially with a buddy. It's one of my favorite like I guess you could qualify it as like a co-play task where you're not really like hanging with your friend. You're not even talking to
You're
him.
never talking to each other. You're apart from each other for
like,
about a good hour.
Yes.
You're checking out CDs, albums,
And you're just
music,
blissed out with
whatever.
the occasional, bro, look what I found.
Yeah.
I love that.
Or
they
a
have
song
this.
comes on like that they're playing
Yes.
from the store. And
Oh, yeah.
Hey, did you hear this?
Yeah, because the soundtrack is always usually good.
Absolutely.
It's
Can
like
we get
That
back
was
to
like
going
high-
into record
That
stores?
was like
Come
High
on.
Yeah.
Fidelity, right?
I mean,
the
it's-
movie with Cusack and
I've not
Jack-
seen that.
Oh, Cusack and
I'd probably enjoy that.
Jack Black. They had
I would definitely enjoy it if it's Jack Black. High Fidelity?
High Fidelity, and it was like they had like a record store or whatever. I think Cusack was like the main guy. I
could easily watch that this weekend.
Yeah,
I was just telling my fiance about
I could easily
King
watch
Kong with Jack Black
Oh yeah,
Did you see that?
Yeah.
from 2005.
Yes.
Woo!
Adrian Brody.
Banger of a fucking movie, dude. 3
You know,
hours of
yeah.
King Kong.
And do you know what else is a fucking great movie? Is Skull Island.
I've never seen Skull Island.
So that is like the updated version of like a King Kong movie.
Is
And
was it Peter? Did Peter Jackson do that? Or?
No,
Oh,
it's after
okay.
that. But Skull Island, check it out. Where
I like King Kong. Cool storyline. It's unique.
Yeah.
absolutely,
It's different.
It goes back to fucking.
It's like the 30s. Yeah, that's what's cool about it. It's,
Yeah,
it's kind of like
it was like the 30s,
that
and
one-
then you had like
Jets,
the 70s upgrades,
Yeah.
with like Fay Ray or whatever. You have the show with Jack Black where he wasn't super fat and like fucking gray and hairy.
yes.
He's a cool Jack Black.
That's fucking. Oh man, like I was trying to think of it. Nosferatu. That's another classic.
Nosferatu,
They
yeah,
just
yeah.
rebooted that one.
Yes, they did.
I think okay. So Dream Theater, Aerosmith, Breaking Benjamin.
So wait. So what are we talking about now? Are we talking Forever 5?
Yeah.
We haven't heard, okay,
Yeah.
so we got
So those-
Aerosmith, Dream
Aerosmith.
Theater,
Yep.
and Breaking Benjamin.
And then I'm gonna probably say I'm gonna look in my recently played because I think that's gonna give me the answer to the next thing we're looking for here. So
And you know what?
how could I have not Dude, the Eagles.
Oh, okay.
Come on, man.
Nice,
Are you
okay.
serious?
It's so funny.
They're
a lot
so
of people
good.
hate the Eagles,
Ah.
and I fucking love the
And
Eagles.
we'll go Tom Petty for the fifth.
For me, Tom Petty.
I love the fucking Eagles.
Okay, so first I'm going to go to the
suck.
Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
They're one for me that I couldn't care less about, but I get it because they're fucking good.
Live,
the
they're
Eagles?
so
Yeah,
good.
the
Okay,
Eagles.
yeah.
Like, they were never like my thing, but I get it.
Did you
Like,
see 'em live?
I never saw them live.
If
That's part of the problem.
Next time, just go
You
for
know,
the live show.
That is my whole
fucking
thing.
good.
Is if you see a band live, that can totally change your outcome on.
They're
your
very
outlook
like.
on 'em.
It's not the Billy Strings crowd, but it's that kind of vibe. Everyone is there and just getting their fucking mind blown by
Right.
like these old men that don't seem to have aging vocal cords.
Yes,
Like
like Air Supply, which so many people like
Supply.
around my age love Air Supply, which I don't.
who is that?
But people do.
Right? Who's that?
And these are like 75 to 80-year-old men who are now tattooed that just fucking belt out their hits from like 40 years ago.
What kind of music was it?
Who knows? It's Air Supply.
Okay, fair.
Yacht Rock. I think.
Yeah, it's, I
I
would say
do like
borderline-
some yacht rock.
And I'm like,
They're like-
let's put this way. So when we went to UAD, I had my 6 CD changer like boombox.
Gotcha.
And I'm like, no one put shit in there without me knowing it.
All right.
So our sweet mate Pickles.
Very good name.
Sweet pick.
Yeah.
Oh,
Adam
that's such a nice fucking.
Adam Pickler.
Adam
Pickler,
Pickles.
Sweet Pick, Pickler.
That's great.
Pickles.
So at one
Sweet
point,
Pick is
I
so
told
kind.
Sweet
him
Pick.
that Air Supply is never to go into this fucking CD player.
Okay.
So one night while we were drinking, he put it in there. And I'm
Piece
like,
of shit.
and I'm like, motherfucker. So I went and took it out, and I threw it across the room as hard as I
man.
could. He's like, what the fuck are you doing? I said, I told you. That is never allowed to be in here. And he actually said, yes, you did tell me. I understand.
And he put it in
That's
there.
hilarious.
On purpose.
But you know, the funny thing is, he went and saw him in Detroit last year, and he sent me some videos. So I put them on our
Oh my
YouTube
God.
channel.
Of course.
Those motherfuckers like blew the fuck up, dude.
Yeah, I
Because they had
can
all the
imagine.
people like, oh my God, Air Supply, and they sound so good, which they
Yeah.
do. They sound great. But you have these
I'll have to
like
look them
80-year-old men with all these fucking tattoos on and shit.
I'll look up Air Supply later.
Yeah,
you
look them
should.
up, and we do have some videos out there. To me, it's just one of those things that is so funny that like you never know. Like your very best friend could like the worst music fucking ever, and you can't really dog them for it because for them, whatever reason, they
Well,
just fucking love it.
I also really love artists like we've mostly talked classic rock, but like I said, I had a rap project for 6-7 years. Really good songs. You guys would like them. Like
Please.
they're fucking cool. Way different sound. I also like. I wouldn't say it's fully rap because it's also a lot of R&B. I love like singing. I'm a huge fan of The Weeknd. Like that
Oh,
dude
yeah,
sings
absolutely.
like a motherfucker.
I think
Whoa. And he probably fucks a lot of people's mothers.
I haven't,
Absolutely.
That's what's happening.
So-
I haven't
my-
heard you
my-
sing, but you have a very good voice.
No, but
Thank you.
my stepdaughter was like on the weekend, like at the very front end, like small shows, this and that. When some in Toronto and stuff. And dude, that dude can fucking
He's amazing.
wail.
Yeah. His
You
newest
you
album.
have to open your mind up to other fucking music. You can't
Yeah.
just be so fucking narrow-minded.
And I'm like
Yeah.
so fucking. I was waiting for a lot of topics. Like I'm almost glad I didn't pod for a couple of weeks because I've gathered a lot. Like I was traveling. I went to Texas for like a week,
Uh-huh.
and then I went to Vegas, Arizona for like a little bit, like a week. So it was
Right.
about like 2.5 weeks of just like existing and fucking living.
right.
Little Uber and Instacart in there because I wanted to
no,
fucking
you're
work
good.
while I was out and
Go on.
about.
Absolutely.
Go
but-
on.
Like that. So the Weeknd album, a couple of pivotal albums have come out recently. So I wanted to talk about this on this pod because it's a fucking music pod. It's a tunage pod,
fucking
and these
love
like the Weeknd came out with a new album recently, and
Yep.
you look like you were about to shit yourself when
I
I,
was going
said
to say,
that.
how is it?
It's
Good?
yeah, it's
Okay,
like a 10,
alright.
like a it's the
11
best.
out of 10?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
It came out the other day. While I was in Texas, it came out on like the 6th day out of 7 that I was in Texas. I knew it was coming out. I knew that it was supposed to come out 2 weeks prior, but then the fires hit, and so he just delayed it because it's not like
Out of respect.
yeah, it's
Yep.
why not? So he delayed it. Came out while I was in Texas, and I was like, so I knew that it was going to be delayed, so I kind of made a plan. I was like, okay, we're gonna listen to it like on this day, like because I create like rituals for like when a record comes out and I know it's coming out. If it's not a surprise record, then it's like okay,
Well, yeah, because it used to come out at midnight on Tuesday.
Yeah,
And
like
they would
something-
Go and camp out.
you know what I
and get
mean?
it.
You'd go to a
Which is
record
why
store.
Which is
I
why
love
we
it.
drop our episodes Tuesday at midnight every night. Not only because I have a day job and I have other shit to do, but because that nostalgia.
In honor
part
of.
it. Absolutely. You used
Well,
to
so-
fucking love that new music and
My-
you'd go
yeah.
and get it at midnight if you had to. because
Well,
you
my
couldn't
buddy,
fucking wait.
he was in Texas at the same time, and I was in Austin, and he was in San Antonio, or he was in Uvalde rather. But there was a Metallica tribute playing in San Antonio, which was the halfway point between both places. So, and I was like, huh. So he told me about that earlier in the week. I'm like, we should like meet up because like it's crazy that we're both in Texas at the same
Right.
time. He's officiating my wedding, so he's
should just
I was like, we have to meet up, dude.
Right. We're
that's-
both here.
what the fuck? So on the way there, like, and I thought about it the whole day. I could have listened to this Weeknd record. It was already out, but I waited the whole time because I was like, the drive there is like an hour and 30 minutes, and this record is like an hour and like 15 minutes. So as soon as I leave, I'll get a burger from P. Terry's Burger Stand, which
enough.
also
Good burgers.
Best fucking burger I've had from a fast food joint ever. P. Terry's the fuck burger stand. P. Terry's burger stand. Grab this burger, right? Double P. Terry's signature with the jalapenos.
Where's
Don't fuck around.
Where's that?
Austin, Texas has a bunch of them.
Jalapenos.
Dude,
Oh.
they're so good. They didn't have the fried egg. That's what I wanted to add to it. Doesn't matter. I'm not salty about it, but I should have brought my own egg. Should have brought my own egg.
No, there's nothing wrong with that.
Point is, I get on the road and I'm driving, and this fucking album, just like, there's something about like when someone releases not just like an album, like, oh, it's a collection of songs. It's like, no, this is, it's a well thought out compendium of thoughts that you put in a specific order with a specific feeling to get the listener to come to by the end of it. Right. And it's not something that any like one song on the album can like do. There's no thesis statement that sums up the whole record, and there's something about carving out time.
I wish I could do that.
Oh,
go ahead.
So
doing the thing, man. It feels so fucking.
I think I experienced that when it was actually my third concert ever. It was Lou Reed.
Oh man, you saw Lou?
I saw him twice. Neil saw him once with me, but
yeah,
the first time I saw him was my third concert ever
at
the Fox Theater.
What year was this?
92-ish. And he did his Magic and Loss album in full. So I forget who it was about, but it was like one of his writing partners or something that was going through cancer. So he wrote this whole album about him. And he played that whole album throughout.
Oh, man.
Which is like a super... Which, at that point, like, I've always bought... Every single time Lou Reed came out with a new album, I always bought the new album because I wanted to hear it.
Yeah.
And so when he came out with that, I bought it. And
it's a journey.
And I'm going through that, and then, like, at the very end, you know, he plays, like, 5 of his most whatever songs. And it was just so... It was different than any other... Obviously, it was only my third show, but it was different than anything else.
It's powerful.
It was different than a lot of stuff I had ever seen. And...
but, like, I'm sure you appreciated the order, though.
Correct. I did. I appreciated it at the time. I don't think I fully appreciated it because, I was 17.
Sure. But you were
but
still buying records,
like, holy
though.
shit, this is Lou Reed, like, spilling his guts. You know, and hearing that, and then we did actually see him at St. Andrews in like 2003 or something, whatever it was. 2000s. And I mean, he played every song you could ever want to imagine. It was absolutely amazing.
There's something
about
about
different
that, like
than the first time.
Yeah,
but it was just to experience that because you knew that album was so important.
Oh yeah. Well, there's like the transition. It's everything. Like when you listen to a record, doesn't matter if you set aside like driving time or if it's with friends. There's something about instead of just doing it like a song or shuffling it, if it's in the order they intended, you just like there's
it's
like
different.
certain things. Yeah, there's moments. Sure. I remember certain moments like when I hear a song or a part of a song on the Weekend record now, I'll remember the moment that when a thing happens, it triggers like the moment of, oh, that's when I rolled down my window and like, adjusted my mirror.
That's music.
That's fucking that's the whole point. It's like which can be so depressing sometimes because it sometimes can bring you back to the bad times, but it's still magic because this sounds so douchey sometimes to talk like that, but it's real.
Back to that total.
It's fucking real as fuck.
It brings you back to the point of where it was happening.
And it happens again. It's not like music makes it like
happy. It can be sad.
It's literally
it happens every time.
Literally, it keeps happening
every time. But you know,
you know what you hope is that you don't have that song that used to like take you to that super high, like so much fun.
Oh yeah,
and then somehow it's like turned into that dark side of your life.
Yeah, there's a couple songs I've retired.
Like, oh my god, it's amazing, and then you're like, fuck, I don't ever want to hear that song again.
Well, like I went through that with "Wouldn't It Be Nice" from the Beach Boys. Okay. I loved it, and then I didn't like it for a bit after like the last breakup that I had because it was like fuck. Right. But then you find new ways to like appreciate a song. Correct. But then other times you'll get introduced to an artist by like a person, and then that person leaves your life, and then you're almost like, man, I don't even like this fucking song. Like, I didn't vibe with this at all. It's like,
great,
I just wanted to,
but
like
you just said, there's also those other times where you're like, yeah, this song's
yeah, it literally, yes.
And then you could hear it.
Like,
Yep.
live on after
And then that person is stuck in your mind forever.
And then
Right.
you could hear that
Absolutely.
song in like a show or a commercial.
Oh,
and you're
yeah.
like, what?
Oh, yeah.
Stop doing that.
Like that one, have a little fun. You know that song? That fucking Italian, like, what are you getting out of life?
Yep.
Are you getting out of living? That whole thing.
Have a little fun.
Yeah, it's fucking, my fiance sings that little have a little fun part, and it, like, I don't know what it does, man. It just brings, like, a certain joy to my life when she does that. And so now when I hear that song, I just think of this, like, my fiance being a jackass just in the living room, like, have a little fun. Like, it's fun. It's funny.
You know what? The beauty of
It
that
brings
is-
you, like,
that
laughs
is what
sometimes,
life
music
should
does.
bring you, is
Yeah.
fun. And if it's not, then find something that does bring you fun.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's music, a lot, whatever it is, and that's where I find fun in my life.
You mentioned wanting to, like, you mentioned willing to take a pay cut potentially by just doing the podcast full time if it made you more happy.
absolutely
And right, that's what I found after
Absolutely.
COVID. I
Right.
found a lot of more freedom in, like, wow, I actually I like a lot of things. I like a lot of things that are just like hanging out with family and kayaking and like just fucking
take ownership of your life and actually fucking do
exactly.
with it.
And I'm gonna go back to when there's a guy there's somebody over with with a podcast. Like that sentence. There's somebody over here having a podcast. I'm like,
So go check
ahead.
them out.
yeah.
You know?
You never know.
I mean,
That's the beauty of it.
Because what was I going to do? Ignore what was happening in the
right, but
parking lot?
Yeah, but as you said,
Well, especially when you
I'm
had
like,
at least like 5 people standing around.
Yeah, I'm like, was this a show or?
somebody over here with a podcast.
What's up, these losers over here?
It felt real, if you will.
Yeah, well, I appreciate
like,
you guys as well
honestly.
being like cool and
No,
great
I-
fucking song. Is that the? There's a song before this. They do that same horn thing as a transition in this record.
This is Devil's Work Day.
Nice. Yeah.
And no, absolutely. And I was a huge fan of you from day one when you first showed up and talked
appreciate
to
it.
us and doing what you wanted to do because it's personal to you. That's what you want to do. You have like that passion for it, which is what we do here. And for me, like having people like you on just reinforces that.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
You know, like
I appreciate that a
whether
bunch.
it's about
we
music, whether
appreciate
it's
it.
about just having,
It's like therapy for me to come on a podcast
Yeah.
sometimes because then I can like just kind of like word vomit all the shit that I feel
Right.
passionately
There's-
about regarding songwriting or whatever. I'm like,
I don't give a shit here.
and like someone
let
asked
you
me how
go.
is a song written, to me that's like the goal, because sometimes I'm not kidding you, I don't want to like ear fuck people to death, so I try not to say a lot. But if someone asks,
Absolutely.
man,
We
I've
love
learned to be like,
No,
I'm
like,
gonna tell you how a
let's-
fucking song is written in my house,
No,
like
because you know
easily,
what?
step by step.
We've talked to bands that have done this, and we've talked to you, we've talked to people that have just done whatever.
And you're on
It-
season 3 now.
Yeah, no, it's interesting to hear like that input because we don't know shit about it.
I mean,
All
similarly.
all I know is I love going to shows. I love experiencing live music. I love meeting people, and I love like finding out about new shit.
Oh yeah.
You know, like, oh,
It feels
I've
good.
never heard of that band, but like Goose, like I never fucking heard of Goose in my life. And everyone was telling me, like, dude, oh, you've seen Fish, you've seen these guys, you should go see Goose. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
did. I'm like, fucking, it's awesome.
Yeah.
And they're probably
No,
better than fucking.
Oh, there's some people I've heard like, oh, I don't really like Goose. I'm like, that's fine. I don't
Yeah.
care. Like, to me, like right now, best jam band I've ever
See,
seen.
I've never listened to them or been to a show of theirs, but I would just to see like what's going on, because it
Right.
can't be a bad time.
No, and then once you're a jam band, like, okay, what's that crowd like? Because you know
Yeah.
that's a whole different experience. So
The only sound I'm reluctant to hear is EDM, but I can't even
You
shit
know,
on that now
I-
because I've heard some that I'm like,
I used to
I
shit
like
on that
this.
until I went to Lollapalooza because I
Yep.
would go and then you would see like all
Some of the
these-
acts are cool.
and then holy shit, now I get it.
and everyone's dancing.
Right?
That's
You're like, okay, I get it.
I didn't know that I enjoyed dancing until Lala.
Right.
I went to
absolutely.
Lala 2017 and I was like,
Okay.
this is fun.
So that was the first time I went last year in
brother.
Chicago and all that shit.
Right.
This is a wrap up handshake. I know these kind of
Absolutely.
handshakes.
No, but no,
I know, I know.
absolutely. Best I'm so happy you finally came here
Yeah.
and joined us. Everyone else, check us out on YouTube, Instagram, all that other shit. But we will check you out the next time around on episode 4. Fuck, Neil, here we go.
Next week.
Two
All right,
dudes
see
and
ya.
killer two.